Shalom, shalom. First off, I want to start off by giving all the glory, infinite praise, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect that is pushing this truth in all sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, giving diligence to make your calling and election sure. Shalom. This is your brother Hashar from the Great Millstone Savannah Camp, coming back in the spirit with another lesson. Lord willing, I pray and hope that it is edifying. All right, and I wanted to, basically get these, bring out some information. All right, and I want to bring out and draw attention to agenda. All right, which was set in motion in 2020. All right, at Davos. Okay, and if you don't know what Davos is, then you need to do some research. Okay, but brothers in the know. All right, we know that the WEF, right, has an initiative. All right, and it says the Great Reset. Okay. It says the Great Reset Initiative is an economic recovery plan drawn up by the WEF in response to the C-19 pandemic. Okay. It says the project was launched in 2020, and a video featuring the then Prince of Wales, Charles, was released to mark its launch. Okay, so this is already in motion. All right, it says the initiative's stated aim is to facilitate rebuilding from the global C-19 crisis in a way that prioritizes sustainable development. Okay, and that's what these people are going towards right now. They're going towards, climate change. Okay, so sustainability is another word for, climate change. Okay, and they believe that in, basically this new system, which is a new world order that they're ushering in, is going to be a sustainable one. All right, one where they can live with zero to no pollution. Okay, and one way they plan on doing that is basically by eliminating a lot of mouth breathers. Okay, so it says the WEF Chief Executive Officer Klaus Schwab, who's since retired. Okay, he since stepped down. All right, because his job is done. All right. It says describe three core components of the Great Reset: creating conditions for a stockholder economy, building in a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable way, utilizing economical, environmental, social, and governance metrics. Right, and it says in harnessing the innovations of the fourth industrial revolution. All right, I don't want to say the fourth industrial revolution. That's how he says it. Okay. And this is basically this summit was held in Davos, right, where they meet every year to discuss world policies, man. All right. It says, I'm gonna skip down. It says the Great Reset Initiative in the world and the WEF more generally have been criticized for some commentators by some commentators for promoting economic deregulation, right, and a greater role in policy unrepresentative private businesses, particularly large multinational corporations, at the expense of government institutions, right? And I'm gonna keep going. It says other commentators attacked the scheme for fixating on the concept of education, health, and vastly overestimating the ability of a group of decision makers to bring about global change, or promoting crony capitalism, right? And this is what you see going on right now. All right, you see, the reset happening, right? You see the beginning stages, right, of the dollar going digital, okay, and this is gonna result in famines, martial law. All right, it's gonna result in the market crashing, okay. And right now you have Trump and Elon Musk in there, and they basically have dismantled the federal government, right, which we just read about in that other article. And who's going to be taking over these different because what did he dismantle? He dismantled the human health services, right, part of the federal government. The education, right, which we just read, was a part of it, right? So what you have here is this plan coming into effect, okay? You have multinational corporations having a large role, right? Elon Musk and his company, right, which he wasn't voted into office, right? He was just, placed there, right? And he owns a multinational corporation, right, which is largely based in America, but he became a billionaire through multinational trade, okay? So today, these tariffs, right, and also for a couple of weeks, right, these tariffs have been wreaking havoc on the global markets, right? Because they're making the shareholders, the stockholders, frantic, which is going to cause people to sell. Right, and what it is really is a big money grab. The fourth industrial revolution, right, starts with a money grab. They're making these stocks tank so they can basically rebuy them and control everything. All right, they don't want individuals to hold stocks. They want corporations to. Okay, and the tariffs are making it harder and harder for individuals to own, all right, stocks. Okay, the market is very volatile, all right? It's up and down, all right? And countries are moving away from trade with America, okay? You had today the German car company Audi. It said they'll no more, they won't be importing any more cars. Okay, which is, like I say, that hurts the U.S. economy, man. All right, these things have ripple effects. Okay, nevertheless, these things were prophesied. All right, these things were prophesied in the scriptures thousands of years ago. Okay, this is Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day." All right, and what's that day? It's talking about now. Right, the end times, okay? Saith the Lord, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a crashing from the hills. All right, representing these different economies. All right. And how do we know that? It says, how ye inhabitants of Mektesh, right? And Mektesh was a city in Egypt, right? That was heavy. It was a port city. It was heavy in trade. Okay. So this would be your modern day Capitol Hill, right? Where, you have a bunch of merchants set up and they're buying and selling on a large scale, right? Which is all Capitol Hill is, right? That's why it says crashing from the hills. And in spiritual, they named it Capitol Hill, right? Because we know hills represent governments, right? They represent a position of power, so to speak. All right, you have a summit, which is on a mountain, and you have hills, right? Verse 11, it says, how ye inhabitants of Mektesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off, right? And, that's how you traded back in the day, all right? That's how you, that's the real currency, right? So there's going to be, in this country, in America, there's going to be a crashing, man. This whole thing is going to crash. And there's already signals, all right, of that happening, right? Whether it happens this year or, whether it's prolonged, all right, it's going to happen. Okay, and the U.S. dollar will go away, all right? The paper dollar will go away, okay? And it will be resurrected, all right, as digital currency going into Revelation, the 13th chapter, right? He calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their forehead or in their right hand, right? That he that did not have the mark would not be able to buy or sell, right? So we're living in that time, man. We're living in the time of prophecy, okay? This is Revelation, the 13th chapter, in the GNT. It says, the beast forced all people, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, or a slave and free, Salakia, to have a mark placed on their right hands or on their foreheads, which is the word there is really in their right hand and in or on or in their forehead, Salakia. It says no one could buy or sell without this mark. That is the beast's name or the number that stands for his name, right? So you're getting the name or the beast, right? You're getting his mark. You're getting branded, right? You're getting, which the word there for mark is charagma, okay? And it's it's a physical C-hip, man, which here at Great Millstone, we believe that, okay? So we believe that this system, once it crashes, it'll be resurrected into digital currency. It'll be have an infrastructure of blockchain, right, where all of your purchases, every single thing that you do will be held on a digital ledger. All right. It says this calls for wisdom. Whoever is intelligent can figure out the meaning of the number of the beast, because the number stands for the name of someone. Its number is 666. Okay. And when you go into this, I actually like the way verse 18 is worded. All right. Because those who have wisdom, they know, right, that the Chi-Psi stigma, right, they know what that entails, right? You have Elon Musk with his Neuralink, right, and all these other countries are developing their own Neuralinks. You have companies in Sweden, right, as well as in, I believe it was Wisconsin. There's a whole company that has the mark, right? They have the charagma already set up in their hands, and the infrastructure is there. All right, the infrastructure for the RFID contactless payment system is already, pretty much in effect. Pretty much the all the stores are equipped with the technology they need to transition that digital system, right? And they don't plan on using or keeping you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans around. I seen a sign on Twitter that says stop hiring humans. It's basically a robotic advertisement, right? So this crashing from the hills, man, is gonna take place. All right, and like we said, the ushering in of Esau's, New World Order, the beast system, right, will be one which they will call it the fourth industrial revolution, right? It'll be one that's based on AI technology, right? It'll be based on, Darwinism, okay? Which AI will completely rule, over finances, your social credit scores. All right, all that's gonna be AI driven, okay? It says, let's see. This is Revelation chapter 9 in verse, Revelation chapter 18 verse 9. It says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning." All right, and these tariffs, right, are the fact that they're such a big deal that the stock markets aren't doing well because of them lets you know that America does a lot of business with other nations, right? Even China, who is our enemy, right? America still does a lot of business with them. So these other nations, they get money, right? They get money from importing and exporting goods into America, okay? And mostly they're importing, right? America is the place where you mostly import and sell goods because we are a nation of consumers, right? So this is how the nations have gotten rich off our delicious, off our, which we're going to go into, Salakia. It says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is her judgment come," right? Is thy judgment come, Salakia. It says, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore." Okay? And then it goes into all the stuff that's being sold, right? This is the place where you can go grow rich, right? You can get real rich off of selling goods and products here, man. All right. Verse 16 it says matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 14. It says, "And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her," right? And mostly off the backs of you Israelites. you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. All right, this is where the so-called Chinese can sell the Chinese store, cheap rice, right? Loads of it, and sell it in your neighborhood. All right. The Arabs, they can set up stores here. They make money, and for a long time, the currency has worked in their favor to where the U.S. dollar held dominance over the currencies overseas, right? So you can make money here and then send it back to your country and be rich, right, in your country, right? But, since the dollar isn't holding that dominance anymore, right, and it's harder and harder for these different people who make money here to do that, right? It says the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. Right, all the skyscrapers, all the the so-called gold that's supposed to be here. All right, the roads and bridges, everything. All right, that makes this country, the railways, the infrastructure, everything's gonna be wiped out in 1 hour, right, by thermonuclear missiles. It says in every shipmaster, and this is also a part of the plan, right? The Georgia Guidestones, right? They want a sustainable population, right? That word sustainable is a deceptive word, right? Because people hear it and they don't think, they think it's, they just want, light bulbs with green energy. They want to plant more. No, they want, the majority of the people, they want them off the earth, okay? It says and they're going to do it. They think that they're going to do it by way of, nuclear missiles, and then they're going to come out and rule. But no, that's not going to happen, right? It says, and all the companies and ships and sailors and many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city, right? That did its weakest the nations, man, that this makes the nations to tremble, drop bombs in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, in Libya, in Baghdad, all over the world, right? America has had that dominance, okay? They have had that global trade. They have used the dollar to sanction different countries. All right, they've set up coups and gone in and set up, central banks, right? America has done that. So they're going to look at this place as that beacon, right? And the beacon is going away, it's circling the drain as we speak, right? And there's only a matter of time before war, right, burns her, all right, burns her flesh, right? So I just want to do this quick lesson, going into the fall of, these different markets globally, all right? Because not only is America going to fall, but all the nations are going to fall with it globally, right? Because they trade, right? They're trading with America, right? A large amount of their money comes from what they bring in and take out of this place. So these things are going to also affect other countries, man, other nations. And it's beautiful because they all think that they're buying, they're buying in for something, right? But, basically the Israelites are going to rule next, man. All right. Not the Russian, not the Chinese, the Israelites are up next, man. All right. We got next. Our kingdom is the kingdom to come. All right. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying and exhorting. I want to end off by giving all the glory, infinite praise and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect that is out there pushing this truth in all sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, giving diligence to make your calling and election sure. Shalom and Ababu Ba.